I'm just back out on the rocks again. It's spring, so it's still a bit cool, but quite pleasant weather. So here's one of those seaweeds I tried the last time. It's not sure of the name of it. So it's got a central stem, and then it's got these brown leafy side leaves coming off it. And that was lovely. Any of the green or brown or red or purple leafy seaweeds are edible and nutritious. I understand the only toxic one I've read about or heard about, it looks like an upturned brush. It's just very fine filaments, and I don't even know if you get it in New Zealand, but somewhere in the world there's a toxic seaweed. So, but all of the leafy ones, certainly in this country, are very edible. And there's hundreds of them, maybe thousands of them. So I don't know the name of this one, but so long as it's brown or green or red or purple and leafy, then it'll be lovely. So I'll get some of these to take home and eat. Now here's some lovely young bladder kelp. So the best part of it is the upper, the top, smaller leaves, smaller floats. Perhaps the fastest growing edible thing in the world. Apparently they can grow to about 1 meter in a day. So just going to find some nice small tops of this. You can still eat the bigger leaves, the lower bits, but these ones are more tender, just easier to manage. Perfect. So in this rock pool there's some lovely sort of young bull kelp, not too big, not too thick. So I find that the tips of it, the tender bits right up at the end, away from the rocks, is the best bit. And the younger, the more tender it is. I'm just going to slice off a few chops of bull kelp. So it looks like sheets of leather, but they're rubbery, a wee bit spongy, but that's lovely, just chopped up, put in a soup or stew, stir fry. Needs a bit of cooking with moisture, so no good putting that in the oven, it'll just bake to a hard, like plastic consistency. But that'll freeze really well, maybe eat about half of that in a pot of soup. And I eat that all year round. Best to spread it out in sort of small portions frequently, rather than really big portions all at once. Full of minerals, iodine, full of carrageenan, sort of a gelatinous thickening agent, and so very good for you, but not in too big a dosage. That's perfect. Here's a load of those sea grapes, the Neptune's necklace. So I find these very interesting to eat. A little bit crunchy, full of seawater I find, and but delightful to come across in a soup or stew. You just get this little bead of crunchiness and seawater. Actually, that looks okay. And here's another one. It's a sort of a, again, a brown, spongy looking, fluffy looking one. Feels like it might be a bit hard, but probably perfectly edible.
So I might try a wee bit of each of these just as an experiment. Just spotted a sea slug. I hope they don't bite. It was attached to one of those seaweeds I was grabbing. Cute animal. Curling up like a hedgehog. Now here's something I haven't seen for years. They're possibly a type of coral. There's a little living critter in all those little spiky bits of calcium there. And when the waves come over them, they shoot out like a little tongue. And they glow in the dark. They light up at night. Just like little sparks. That's a good sized mussel. It's not a particularly big tide, so I probably won't reach the really big ones. These are the main target, these big green lip mussels, green shelled mussels. Got a couple of oysters on it, 3 oysters. Well, I've just got back home after a brilliant morning there on the rocks, gathering some wonderful seaweeds and a bunch of mussels. So that's the bladder kelp, young ones, small ones. That's the sea lettuce. That's the bull kelp. So I'll slice that up into sort of wafers. That's quite a tender, young, thin tip of bull kelp. It's often quite thick and leathery. This is that one that I had the last time with a bit up the middle and the wriggly bits each side. So that's lovely. This one I've had that before and I found it quite pleasant. The sea grapes, Neptune's necklace, they're lovely. This is one I haven't tried before. It's probably going to be a wee bit rough, a bit sort of gritty. Looks like a tree. This one I've never tried before and it feels like it could be a bit tough as well. Might be fine after 20 minutes or so. The bladder kelp has turned green. It was brown. This one has turned green as well. And so is the bull kelp has turned green too. It was brown. The sea lettuce. They're the simplest, easiest, one of the most pleasant seaweeds. Oh, a bit salty. I did them in seawater. I've rinsed them all in fresh water to get rid of any dust, stuff from the sea. Once it gets past the seawater, yeah, a wee bit crunchy still, so that probably needed another minute or two. But they're one of the simplest, easiest ones. See that. Oh, bull kelp. Most of them have turned green. They start out brown, but I'm surprised to see this green when I usually slice that up into wafers, the thicker ones that are frozen for months. Put them into soups and stews so they cook for 20-30 minutes. And but this one's turned green and stayed green, so I'll yeah, it still needs that 15-20 minutes in a soup. But after 2 minutes, there's a nice thin young tip. They can be like big sheets of thick leather, and but when you chop them up and stew them up in a soup for half an hour, they're good as gold. So that needs a bit longer. Bladder kelp is one of my favourites because it's not always the easiest to reach, but it's very easy to identify with its float and the leaf. That needs another couple of minutes, but lovely. Yeah. The float was, what happened to the float? The float was ready, but the leaf is still a bit chewy. So that needs another 5-10 minutes in a soup or something. Nice flavour, lovely texture. Try one. Oh, looks turned black. So yeah, that one of those new ones, those brown looking. I thought these might be a wee bit gritty. It's actually turned black, and it's made the seawater a bit black. So well, here goes. That's actually quite a pleasant texture. It needs another 5, 10, 15 minutes. Got a bit of a stronger flavour than the other ones. Almost getting onto the spiciness. So that's actually quite nice. It's not cooked enough. The fact that it's gone black, it started off a sort of beige colour. But I figured it was, yeah, it would be fine, but it's not gritty. It's very crunchy. And it's gone very black. So that's actually that's a winner. Oh, this is the other one, looked a bit like a tree. I've never seen this before or tried it before. It looks a bit black, but I think it's just the whole seawater's turned black from the previous one. So this one smells lovely. They all smell a bit like a rock pool, like kelp. Oh, that's lovely. That's done already. That's the one that looked like a tree. Bit of bonsai. Now that's a very pleasant texture. It's a smooth, fluffy, leafy texture. That's another winner. And there's plenty of that about. Never seen it before, but never tried it before. So that's good. Neptune's necklace. I've always enjoyed these. Still quite crunchy. That needs another 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever, boiling. But very pleasant, mild flavoured, lovely, crunchy. Yes, they're keeping the sort of boiled pea type thing. Only with a seaweed flavour. Lovely. Sláinte.